all leads back to control. The government controls what we eat. They control what we think. They control what we feel. And then we wake up one day and be like, damn, I got...
But isn't that American dream? That American dream is because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality. But isn't that American dream? That American dream is because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality. But isn't that American dream? That American dream is because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality.
Q9, my food time, hold it up and smoke it. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for.
It's madness, yo. All the things that we could talk about.
Call it.
But let's talk about these urban circumstances real quick.
And basically, it's the
we got this.
So,
revolution.
Winner's frosty hand. Muhammad is the fame's name, forever stand.
Standing on royal fusing of justice for the few, ridiculed by the pale terrorists bent on genocidal obsession, rooted in fear of neglection and abandonment, fueled by nightmares of ancestors' jealousy.
Because at the end of the day, I still want to be able to I don't dislike George Washington.
The kind of friends I think all friends should be like my friends. My friends are the kind of friends I think everyone needs. My friends see the things at times I don't see. My friends hate the police.
What has changed?
Are deemed the criminals, and the blacks are deemed the criminals.
shut up and help.
Reflection ain't nothing but the inner child trying to see you. You gonna look? You gonna pick up that book?
Lord, keep me far from the faith. Guide me through night and day. Teach me your ways. Show me the righteous way to sway. Lord, can you teach me, please? Show me the way, I'd say. Grand Risings, and welcome back to another episode of the Urban Conservative with Chaz Neal. We're excited to have you join us on this journey of thoughtful discourse and community engagement. The Urban Conservative is proudly sponsored by the Leon Black Network, an organization committed to promoting transparency, truth, and accountability in our media landscape. Here at the Urban Conservative, our mission remains steadfast: to bring you the latest news directly from the streets, addressing critical topics such as gun violence, crime, politics, and perhaps most importantly, exploring solutions to the profound challenges our communities face. As we embark on this third season, the focus is clear. It's time to actively contribute to the transformation of our communities for the better. How can we achieve this? The answer lies in a multifaceted approach that starts with reconnecting with our core family values, strengthening our sense of community as paramount, fostering bonds that transcend the barriers that often divide us. Moreover, it involves embracing our foundational roots, recognizing the historical and cultural threads that weave through the fabric of our society. In this season, we are calling for more than words. We seek action. It's a plea to move beyond mere rhetoric and engage in tangible, impactful initiatives that contribute to positive change. The time for empty words has passed. Now more than ever, we need to put our convictions into action. Together, united by a common purpose, we can make a substantial and lasting difference in the well-being of our communities. So join us on this journey as we explore not only the challenges, but also the opportunities for growth and progress. Together, let's turn our shared vision for stronger, safer, and more connected communities into a reality. Thank you for being a part of the Urban Conservative with Chaz Neal, a platform dedicated to fostering change and making a positive impact on the world around us. Shut up and help. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a great, restful, and joyful weekend. Y'all already know what it is. Today is February 12th. It's 10:06. In an hour and 54 minutes, the gavel drops on the 2024 legislative session. And this morning, I wanted to, it's Black History Month. And I've been wanting to talk about individuals that we may not have known about, maybe, school didn't talk about. And this morning, I wanted to talk about another Minnesotan that is, I didn't know about until this weekend when I was doing research. And I was looking up because I knew today, is the start of the legislative session. And I wanted to talk, it's Black History Month. So I wanted to talk about a Black official, the first. And I found her. Her name was Nellie Saunders Allen. She was a trailblazing figure in Minnesota's history. Emerged from humble beginnings on a dairy farm near Hinckley, raised by a father who championed the Nonpartisan League, a radical rural organization, and a mother of diverse ancestry with a college education. Nellie inherited a legacy of education advocacy. Her commitment to learning manifested early when at age 13, she distributed nonpartisan league flyers while journeying at school. Leaving home at 17, she completed high school through the GED program at the University of Minnesota, fueled by the earnings from her work. Working her way through the University of Wisconsin with money earned from trapping, Nellie eventually owned and operated Nellie's Alterations in Minneapolis for 3 decades. Her dedication to education persisted, evidenced by her service on the Minnesota Higher Education Board. In the 1930s and 40s, Nellie Johnson became a trailblazer in organized labor, breaking barriers as the first woman vice president of the Minnesota Culinary Council and the vice president of Local 665 Hotel and Restaurant Employees Union. In 1945, she achieved another milestone as the first Black person elected to citywide office in Minneapolis, securing a seat on the library board. Her impact extended to governance roles on the Minnesota State University Board and the Minnesota State Colleges and University Board of Trustees. Nellie's contributions to Minneapolis are immortalized in bronze sculptures titled Shadow Spirits, honoring those overlooked in history. Recognized by the W. Harris Davis Foundation in 1988, Johnson's story is featured in Contributions of Black Women to Minnesota History. Her legacy lives through the Nellie Stone Johnson Scholarship, awarded annually to minority students from union families. In 1995, St. Cloud State University bestowed upon her an honorary doctorate as a life member of the NAACP, National Council of Negro Women, an active participant in various organizations. Nellie Stone Johnson tirelessly advocated for equal opportunities. Married twice, both unions ended in divorce. Nellie Stone Johnson passed away on April 2nd, 2002, leaving behind a profound legacy of activism, education, and breaking barriers. Her life serves as an enduring testament to resilience, commitment, and an eager spirit of a woman who left an incredible mark on Minnesota's history. You know, I didn't know about Nellie Johnson, Nellie Allen, until just this weekend. And I wanted to dig more into her. And I got kind of busy this weekend, so I really wasn't able to do a deep dive into her. But I will this week. Because for me, I think it's important that we know history a little bit of people who have walked this journey to be able so that we could continue. They literally, it's like not a marathon. What is that? A relay race where they pass the baton. So I want to know the people that were before me who passed the baton on to me. So that's why it's important for me, and I think it's important for people that live, no matter, I guess, where you live. It's important to know your history, know what people were fighting for, because if we don't understand where we came from, we'll never understand where we're supposed to go. And I'm going to continually say that because that's something that Malcolm, Marcus Garvey, Carter G. Woodson, all of our great leaders that they uplift, it's always it's the same common theme that we're continually still fighting today. Oh, that's dope. I like that. Now it shows the whole screen. I mean,
yeah, man.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Grand rising to you, brother. Peace and blessings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad you jumped on this morning, because I do want your, opinion, perspective on this, because I'm going to talk about policy this morning a little bit and stuff that was passed last session and here in Minnesota. And it's something that, it's crazy because, there's all this talk about affirmative action and DEI, and, people are making certain points. And I think that a point was just made here in Minnesota, and I think it kind of went over people's heads. So in this 2023 session, we passed a bill for felony murder. And what's crazy is, let me get into it. Let me share the screen real quick. I should already had this set up. I'm kind of behind a little bit. So I want to just play this for a second. It ain't even that long. I think it's like 2 minutes.
This
of course,
February at Grand Casino Mille Lacs.
So I'll talk while the ad is playing. But so literally the felony murder legislation that they passed last year is that they directed it at Black and brown bodies, right? But the first people to be able to use this is, oh, here it goes right here.
They were released this week and may be the very first inmates in Minnesota to have their sentences convicted for their roles in a murder case are now out of prison. They were released this week and may be the very first inmates in Minnesota to have their sentences reduced under new legislation.
I'm so sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. Everything went so fast.
Brianna Martinson and Megan Cater were charged and ultimately pleaded guilty to aiding in the murder of Corey Elder in Bloomington while trying to rob him of drugs in 2017. The women were initially sentenced to matching 13.5-year prison sentences, even though they did not actually help kill Elder. But the state legislature recently rewrote the laws on aiding and abetting the crime of felony murder. So now only those who directly commit the murder or directly aid them can be charged with the crime. The new law can also be applied retroactively to those already in prison. This week, Martinson and Cater were resentenced on lesser burglary charges and released 2.5 years early.
Now, I have no issues with these individuals getting their time. Oh, shit. no issues with them getting their sentence cut. But the problem that I have with it is you have so many other cases that were like this that right now are sitting in prison and did way less than what these two white girls did. And I'm gonna bring up race because of the simple fact. Go ahead.
Another way of putting it is the fact that the foundational black population in America is 13%, right?
Right.
So we're 13% of the population compared to, what is it, the 60% of white people. But when you look at the prison system, it's flipped. 13 about percent of white people, and the majority are black and brown, mostly black. So I think, considering that logic, we should be using this to exonerate or reduce the sentences of the people that are most affected, or the sentences or the crimes that are the pettiest, or the ones that are under review for maybe they really didn't do it and they were framed, kind of thing. Those are just my thoughts.
No, and like them are great thoughts, but it just I guess the part that trips me out, right, is I was watching the video from last year's committees, and it was a lot of data that they used. So basically, the data that they used was in the decade spanning from 2010 to 2019. They said 80% of those ensnared in the clutches of aiding and abetting felony murder charges found themselves cast within the shadows of Black and brown communities. This stark reality unveiled a gripping presentation to the House Public Safety Committee, exposed a harsh truth, a truth where nearly half of the accused were Black, despite the Black population in the state hovering at a mere 7% during that era. The scrutiny of 130 felony murder cases during this period revealed a deeply troubling pattern. As the tale unfolds, those caught in the legal crosshairs are predominantly young, with 63% falling beneath the age of 25, and a disheartening 9% being minors under the age of 18. This paints a somber portrait of a justice system that seems to disproportionately target the youth of Black and brown communities. Mary Marorty, shedding light on the continuous nature of aiding and abetting and felony murder doctrines, highlighted a fundamental flaw in the system. The convergence of these doctrines allows individuals to be charged and punished for murder without any intent to cause harm, violating a cornerstone principle of criminal law. This principle asserts that individuals should be held accountable for the harm they intended and be punished accordingly. To deviate from this principle is not only fundamentally unjust, but a glaring display of systemic bias. And again, like I said, I have no issues with this legislation. Oh yeah, no, I'm not. You know what? I would please do. I'll hook that up for me, Robert, because I do want to talk about this because when I was doing my research, there was another name that I found that they used during the legislative session, and I was trying to look it up, and I will continue and I'll talk. But they used this lady that has 2 college degrees, and all she did it was after the crime was she basically lied to the police, but got charged with aiding and abetting and got a lot of time. And I'm like, why do they? It's like it just. And I have, like I said, I'm glad that these women got out, because an injustice anywhere is an injustice. But it's like they always want to use us, and it's like we don't ever we maybe partially get affected by it, but it like takes forever and ever for us to fully get any type of blessings from it. You know what I'm saying? They make it sound so good on paper. I don't know what I'm trying. I do know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm trying to be respectful.
Everyone else gets it first. We always get it last.
All right. Because it just, I wish I could find this lady's name now, man, and I can't. But it was such a, I should have saved it. I don't know why I didn't. But she was oh man, a hell of a story though. But she has a bachelor's, she's got a master's, and sometimes love makes you do stupid shit. It makes you do goofy ass shit. And I see so many of our brothers and sisters that that love will make you do crazy things and make you protect people that maybe you shouldn't protect.
Mhm.
And are sitting behind bars all for the simple fact of that potentially they hid something or they lied. But to sit there and go do life behind bars for a lie when we elect people that lie to get people killed every day. So what's different than them aiding and abetting than a normal citizen aiding unity? That's what's different. Let's see what Robert 60 said. They have up to 2025 to apply. The people I am working with who are affected by the bill have a chance to get new evidence. Rushing it is worse than doing it right.
I agree.
My thing of it is though, and I definitely do agree, right? But it should have never have got to this point anyways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even with this Friday I'll have Robert Davis on, who is a wrongfully convicted individual out of Ohio. And it's so tough because I understand, like, why does the justice move so slow? Why, you know what I'm saying? When everything points for a person who is innocent, but yet the system has its, I don't know what the hell, the procedures, process, and it's like, it's just crazy of how it works one way for some and then the other way for others.
Right.
Because the shit is, it's a one and done application. No, and I've been, I see that at the end of this month there was supposed to be a CRU. If people don't know what that is the Conviction Review Unit. That looks at cases to get them overturned. But even that shit moves slow. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely not disagreeing with that at all. But even I've had Republican legislators even agree with the point that I'm making, is that every story that was damn near up there that they used in these committees were black and brown, right? But then as soon as somebody is benefiting from the bill, it's who is highlighted. They didn't highlight none of the names that they used to get the bill passed. The one girl they did, I know she was in it, so that might be her mom, because I did see somebody's mother that was in the committee hearing and for public. So I'll take that back. But it's just, it baffles me of how some of these cases they use the worst of the worst and they don't ever see the daylight. You know what I'm saying? It's because they know, and what's crazy, because myself being on probation, and the conversations that I've even had with my PO, and how people they'll admit that the system is messed up, the system is rigged, but yet don't really do too much about it. They'll say it but won't do anything about it. And that's why I feel like we're so stagnant, because I don't know, even just this weekend, I don't want to get out. It's not getting off base because it's talking about the same shit, but talking about, Republicans and Democrats. I see the big topic right now is, okay, Dakota courts are reviewing the initial application and then deciding on face value if it gets sent to the district court, in case you know of anyone who is looking at it. I know, I don't think I know anybody that is looking at it right now per se. I know I have more people have applications in the CRU unit than anything. But didn't Mary just put a unit like that together in Hennepin County that was looking at cases? Because that's one thing that I definitely want to get into, and I'm get in here in a few minutes. It's talking about things that are actually what is going to happen this legislative session. Are they going to talk about homelessness? Oh, that's okay. Thank you for that, Robert. So the CRU and this bill is two completely different things. So, but we come to this legislative session, and the things that they're talking about, they're not talking about helping the people. There's a lot of things that are up here in this legislative session that is going to make it. Harder. You know what I'm saying? Because we already have a high homeless problem. We already have a rampant and crime, and when you add other people in there that are already, some people might see as them being replaced or taking away their benefits or whatever, because that's how it was when. That's why they had the Civil War, because they thought, oh, they're going to take away slavery. That's going to take away from us. So, yeah, that's just at the county level. Okay. Recent. Okay. I figured, and I ain't got no problem with Mary. Do I agree with her politics? No, I think she's got the right intentions to a degree. But I don't think until honestly people can sit and feel what we feel and have to go through this process and have to understand the clockwork and the way that the wheels of justice turn. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think people fully understand, and we constantly are apologizing for things that we feel that people may be seeing as wrong, but yet don't understand it. And I want to tell, I'm not going to say any names, but I want to tell people that stop apologizing for being you. Stop apologizing for being comfortable, for being you. Because I know we all walk this life of, thinking that we have to be a certain way, or that we have to look a certain way, we have to be a certain way. And at the end of the day, we can just be who we are, because that's all. Just be you, because that's why we love realness. That's why people love real people, is because we don't change up. We're not apologetic for who we are. And you should never be apologetic for doing the right thing. You should never be apologetic for living your life the way that you want to live life. And it's on God's side, not the other side. So I just wanted to say that, because I have seen some, a lot of apologetic posts lately on social media, and people apologizing for being them, being the real them. Because I would rather you be real and have a good heart than to be a wannabe portraying that you're real and you don't have a good heart. No, it definitely is rigged. That you definitely have a good point. And I want to talk about this legislative session. because there's some things that are going to be brought up that are right now that are being highlighted and spotlighted. And I don't really think that it's stuff that, because today you're gonna at what time is it now? So an hour and a half when the gavel drops, we've seen passes of a substantial $72 billion state budget that sustains the state government and its programs for the next 2 years. Notable policies from the legalization of marijuana to augmented abortion protection and the provisions of free breakfast and lunch for all school children. That's what passed last year. And as we embark on this new legislative journey, leaders signal a focused approach. The spotlight is on passing a bonding package aimed at funding critical infrastructure projects, fine-tuning legislation passed in the previous session, such as the marijuana legalization law and modifications to how school resource officers can respond to incidents in classrooms. House Speaker Hortman reflects on the progress made in 2023, but acknowledges there is still unfinished business to address. And speaking from the Republican perspective, House Minority Leader Lisa DeMuth emphasizes the need for fiscal responsibility. She asserts Minnesota doesn't have a revenue problem. We have high taxes. Minnesota has a spending problem. And House Republicans are willing to stand up and say no to new spending. So basically, this sets the stage for a dynamic exchange of ideas and priorities on the floor. Walz anticipates a pretty low-key session. His focus is on necessary cleanup bills, including fixing the standard deduction for the upcoming year's taxes. He underscores the importance of addressing issues around the school resource officers. For Walz, the emphasis will be on bonding and resolving existing concerns, reflecting a pragmatic approach to governance. As well, the House Speaker, what is her name? Carrie, hell is her name? But so the Democrats have a new speaker this year in the Senate. Forget who Carrie somebody dropped out, and now it is Aaron Murphy but they have a new speaker, and I really thought they was gonna give it to Bobby. But yeah, the way he was looking in that picture, he was looking kind of mad. So I don't think that vote went the way that he wanted it to go. But when you look at anything that these people are talking about, it has nothing to do with our communities. And that should be very frustrating. They are talking about our communities, but it's not about aimed at changing our communities or preventing certain things or making it better, because you're hearing things about immigration. You're hearing things about free this, free that. You're hearing things about, infrastructure. You're hearing things about blase this, blase that, suicide, physician-assisted suicide. But yet they don't want to put on the death certificate suicide. So what's the point of making it legal here in Minnesota if you don't want to put that on the death certificate? So we got an education problem. And that's not being talked about. You see these teachers asking for more money.
But teachers getting paid $16 an hour.
No, I'm not saying that these teachers should not be getting paid. I definitely, that's not one thing that I want people to understand when I say, because our education system is fucked up. Mm-hmm. Because teachers do not get paid enough to do the things that because it's crazy how a judge who gets to sit at and think that they're God all day get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And yet a teacher who is trying to foster the future of America, to make sure that our kids are educated, can barely make it. Some have 2-3 jobs. And I never fully understood, you know, appreciation for certain jobs because yeah, I'll tell you right now, I do appreciate our teachers out there. You know what I'm saying? For the things that they go through, because there's some really great ones out there. There's some ones that out there that really do care. Um, there's ones that out there that really do truly want to educate and see our kids do better. So hands up to them. But we have to fix it somewhere. And I don't, there's such a big disconnect when it comes to what's good for our kids, because some people will say school choice. Well, some people will say, oh, well, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it's like, no, how about we just stick to teaching facts? How about we just stick to teaching kids how to get through life? Because not every kid wants to go to college. Let's bring back trade schools. Let's bring back, you know, kids, because that's the one crazy thing that I will never understand today, because the way that we push our kids to Harry, it's crazy that we push 4-year universities and they barely want to get up for high school.
And the thing is, we have a shortage of like there's so much demand for tech jobs and trade jobs, and
yes,
motherfuckers can make 6 figures. You know,
right.
HVAC and construction, people can work their way up to 6 figures, and those fields are dying out. They're aging out, and so they need youth bad. But our society, our system promotes higher education like it's the way to getting the American dream, and these young kids are now seeing it's not. There was just a TikTok the other day of some young Gen Zer who said that, you know, she applied to all these different places, like stacks and stacks of places, and she has 2 degrees. And she started crying, talking about, well, you know, these degrees, y'all said I'm supposed to do this, that, and the third, and everything we said, you know, we did everything we were told, and we're not getting anywhere, and we're still living with our parents. And like, I feel for them, but I also get it. But at the same time, like, there is such demand out there for these different kind of trades, and it doesn't cost a lot in a lot of scenarios and cases. These people will train you and pay you, so you're not like paying tuition. You know what I mean? You're not driving in. If anything, you're that's a surplus, because you're also getting a way up to make 6 figures. You know what I mean? And then you can start your own business. So, I mean, personally, it's something I've been looking into, but I think it's something that everyone should look into, because it's seen in our culture as like a icky job, or jobs that no one wants because you're not famous, or you know, you're not sitting in an office setting or whatever. But it's like you're able to feed your family and live comfortably and get that American dream. So it's something I'm thinking about, and I think other people should too. Is all of higher education really worth it?
Right. I definitely agree. Oh, shit. Okay. Did I share the wrong one? Yeah. Whoops. Share the wrong one.
And exactly, Robert. That's exactly what I was saying. How many never graduate but still have student loans? Most college jobs are not needed. It was a scam after World War II to do something with the extra people due to modernization and overproduction. I could not agree with you more, brother.
I'm going to play this video real quick. This is them talking about the legislative session. So let me play this real quick. It's only 2 minutes long. All right.
Will be back in St. Paul for the start 2020. Expected to slow down just a little bit. Heidi Wigdahl has a look at some of the early priorities.
After a busy and historic legislative session last year, good normal this now.
This is the second year of the session. The first year was the DFL jar spent $17.6 billion. It's more than 40% of the last record. And so this session is not about spending.
U of M political science professor Larry Jacobs says it will be about bonding, borrowing money to invest in roads, bridges, and water infrastructure. Kicking off the new session, the debate over school resource officers. A new bill aims to clarify the law that passed last year and led to many SROs being pulled from schools across the state. There's also talk around updating the state's new recreational marijuana law, including closing a loophole. Other topics up for debate: should sports betting become legal? And another, allowing physician-assisted suicide for adult patients with less than 6 months to live.
There's a big debate about the impact of a constitutional amendment to put the right to abortion in the Constitution. There's some DFLers who say this will mobilize support. There are others who say it may mobilize more of the pro-life opponents of abortion.
But whether that's this year or 2026 has yet to be determined. The new session comes as all 134 House seats are up for election.
The Republicans want to use session to drive home their main attack on the DFL, that they are out of control when it comes to spending. They're going to use every opportunity to take advantage of that attack.
There's also a new Senate Majority Leader. It was announced last week that DFL Senator Erin Murphy is taking over after Senator Carrie Dietzig said she had to step down from the position after learning her cancer had returned. Morgan.
Grammarly. So, as you can see, there was nothing about the massive homelessness issue we have. There was no discussion of affordable housing. Yeah. And not saying that the things that they're talking about aren't needed, because they are. It is needed. Right. That's the crazy part, because that's literally and people, that's what people don't understand as well either, is, you know, when we're sitting here thinking about, you know, tax up hikes and raises and things like that, because I've seen things of, you know, people's Xcel Energy bills going up, or their Rochester Public Utilities, you know, whatever you have. But people have to understand it's part of policy, it's part of legislation. And even just this year, that there will be talks of taxes, which I think their first committee meeting starts tomorrow. A tax about housing. You know, they're talking about seeing it two ways. One, on your paycheck, you know, when they take out your state taxes, that there would be, you know, you pay for housing that way. And when you go to the store. So why are we paying for things that there's already money for? Why are they? I don't understand that. And people don't understand that, because they bypass it. I was just having conversations over the weekend about this, and a lot of people didn't even know that this was going on, that they were even discussing a housing tax in Minnesota. So people really do need to pay attention, because we already pay a gas tax. Now we're about to pay a housing tax. For future housing. We're about to be taxed for future housing, to pay for future housing. And people don't even understand that. What about all the housing now? You know, a good point somebody brought up the other day is they talk about where all this money, but yet there was money released last year, but I haven't seen it. Or no, that's what it was. It was they promised this new, it was like some tech group was going over north, and they were supposed to break ground. And the city had gave them all this money, but yet they haven't broke ground. It was supposed to be the whole shit. Minnesota, Minneapolis is just a shit show. And Republicans, you know, Walter and, you know, some of them believe that they can overturn certain races or, you know, flip. No, you're not.
You're not. That's what's because I take key shit from these interviews, and it's crazy how they said the lady said, "Well, they might wait this year or 2026." Or I think they said 2025 or whatever. And it's like, I think some of these legislators already have it in their mind because right now they only have a 34-33 majority. Now, if they get more than that 34 and they do get a super majority, which may not be this year, might be 2026. So maybe that's why they're saying 2026, because it probably won't be this year, but maybe in 2026 election they will. So they basically just setting us up. And it's been like that the whole way through Minnesota history. I was Reverend Tim Christopher was actually, that's why I be telling your ass to get on Twitter, man, because they be getting hot and spicy over there. But there was a conversation somebody was going at Rev talking about, oh, you don't even know Minnesota, and asked him to name off the governors since he had been alive. Well, Rev started naming off mayors or whatever. Well, I know the governors of Minnesota, so I started naming them off. I said, well, since that I've been alive, we had LQ, who was, and I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but he was an independent Republican. Then you had Rudy Purvich, and then you had Arnie Carlson. Then you had Jesse Ventura, or wait, Palenti. I wouldn't know, it wasn't. It was Ventura, then Palenti. Right. No, you're so right, Robert. It's all about allocation and distribution. Moose Lake is looking at dropping their P. I've seen that due to a reduction in population. This has been happening in Minnesota. One rural town had 3 lots to build. Yeah, that was you know what's crazy is Claremont, Minnesota does that. That literally, if you move to their city, they will give you a free plot of land to build there. If you build a house there, they will give you a plot of land to build on. Yeah, they're not, and Moose Lake isn't the first one either. And it's crazy because how in Moose Lake, I think they said that their city budget, I think it was like 53% goes to the police department, and it's only 3 officers. It's the police chief and 2 other officers. So I was like, damn, 53%. What is their budget? Like, shit, if they get 53% of it, that's crazy. But Minnesota really needs to look out for a lot of things, because even when it comes to the Minnesota SOP program, they looking to shut that down. But there is something that I definitely wanted to talk about when it comes to this legislative session of what we didn't hear, because I didn't hear about ending involuntary servitude, which I'm part of a group that is pushing that. I didn't hear the Black American Family Preservation Act. I didn't hear anything about that. And that just baffles me, because these are all things that people are pushing in my community, but yet it's not being pushed on the news. So it's like, why are we hiding things that can actually help our people? I will never understand that. I don't understand why Bobby, Cedric, Esther, none of them, Athena, Marissa, the rep who raps. Why don't you rap about that? Why aren't you rapping about the African American Preservation Family Act? Because that doesn't fit your narrative. Neither for Heather Keeler, Zanad Muhammad. Doesn't fit your narrative. But let it be about the North Star Act. People are like, what's the North Star Act? Look it up, because they'll be talking about that today at 4 o'clock. Just go on YouTube, put Minnesota House. You'll be seeing them talk about that bill today at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, you'll see them talking about that bill. Cedric Frazier will be discussing that bill today at 4 o'clock. I got the emails. 4 o'clock today, because the gavel comes down in 1 hour and 10 minutes. The gavel clicks. And a legislative session will be in play. You already had a committee meeting this morning. They were at committee meetings. That one was about, what was that one about? I think it wasn't taxes. I think it was about taxes. It had something to do with taxes. Because that should be very interesting. Another committee that people should watch is public safety, ways and means. Please watch that. Because I will be sharing a lot of links to live video for committees that I think people should be paying attention to, because it is something that we really need to be involved in. And the only way that we're going to be involved is if people are aware. So the more awareness, the more involvement. So I definitely will be sharing as much as possible. I know I haven't been sharing a lot on Facebook lately, but I definitely will with this. And then I'm going to show y'all something in a week, right? So all this week, I'm going to be posting both on Facebook and Twitter. And then next week, I'm going to show you guys the insights from these posts, because I watch where I get more interaction, where it gets more, I don't know what they call that, impressions, whatever, right? Because it's crazy of how more people are in tuned and want to be involved on Twitter, and people are just more looking for feel-good shit on Facebook. I've really noticed that, because people should really switch to Twitter, because you can reach, and if you don't have Twitter, go get it. I really advise people to go get Twitter, right? I know people are saying, oh, that's the right. No, listen, if they want to call being able to tell the truth without being judged, without being demonized, because you can't even say white on Facebook. You can't even say anything with Palestine. You can't say anything with Zionism, and you're getting booted. You're getting going against community standards. Is that the type of world that we want to live in, where you speak anything that is truthful and they ban you?
I mean, I hear that Twitter does the same thing, but with certain things.
With like what?
You can't talk about white people, but black people will literally get it. White people will be in your inbox calling you the N-word. But if you clap back at them or report them, their profile stays up and black people get booted.
Shit, I ain't seen none of that, because I be going hell in on white people.
I've been hearing articles. I've been reading articles about it ever since Elon Musk bought it. So that was like what deterred me from getting on Twitter personally.
No, Twitter, man. I will tell you like this, that I don't, anything that I've seen, that I don't see that's the case, because I see a lot of black conservatives, black progressives that go all day in on white people, from calling them crackers, from whatever you want to call white people. And they don't, because I'll tell you right now, you could put WHITE, you can spell it out on Twitter. You can't spell it out on Facebook. You got to put YT.
Right. See, I put WT, but I feel
you can't even. You can't even put nigga on Facebook.
I do every day.
Do you? See, the last time I did it, I got a one against community standards.
I've never, ever. I say nigga all the time. But the point is, I get what you're saying. My point is that each social media platform has different kinds of restrictions and censorings. And from the sources that I've been researching, it's going to get a lot worse if we don't clap back on it. So my question is, how do we clap back on censorship across all platforms?
You know what's crazy though is, I think it's time to start our own shit. I think it's
especially
I've been following. Right. So we already have our own shit. There's people out there that have, it's called funded socially.
Yeah. I know there's like black apps and social media and stuff, but it's not
We need to
mainstream.
push that shit more than getting on Twitter. And that's the one thing that one of the reasons, because I'm sure for the next 60, 80, whatever, however long the session goes on, I'll be talking about this session. So but it's even when this upcoming election, one of my main top themes is going to be, my main repetitive themes is going to be, is that we have to start putting people that actually are for us. And that can't be bought by the establishment. That no matter, even if they know that their vote, it's not going to go the way that we want it to go, that they still don't sell out, but that they still fight, knowing that they have backup from the community and that we stand with them. Because the people united will never be divided. And I just don't understand how we as people cannot sit here and stand behind each other to better our communities. Because there's enough of us. And I just don't think we're doing it the right way. I see 2020 all over again. I see these paid grifters who talk about voting for Trump, but not anything local. Not anything local. How's voting for Trump going to change anything going on in Chicago? It ain't. Because Trump going to get us paid. Y'all sound like you might as well just go vote for the Democrats and you want to keep on getting a handout. And I'm not, let me take that back, man, because they both the same. And we should vote people about their policies, not for simple if they are red or blue. We should vote for policy, 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 policy. Because let me ask you a question, John, too. As somebody who has actually ran for city council, do you feel like you would have been censored or recalled, or do you feel like you would have had enough support from the people for doing the right thing that you would continually do the right thing for the people?
So the reason why I was censored, and that's what made me say fuck this.
Okay.
Because it was the Democrats that were censoring me the most, trying to mold me into something that I did not fit into. And that's really the biggest bone I have to pick. So much so that I didn't hear the rest of your comment, because that's what I wanted to jump down, was the fact that I was censored. And I think for a lot of people, people that want to actually make change and get into this and do something, both parties actually can deter many people from getting into this and having the change that they think that they can make.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because you make a very good point, because I think people get discouraged. And not only discouraged, but they get in there and they're like, well, damn, they're supposed to be with me, but why are they?
Let me give another add-on to that, because I didn't have a choice. I had to pick Democrat or Republican if I wanted to run. Right? So it wasn't until the next elections, if I wanted to be Green Party or Libertarian or whatever, I would be able to do that. So they already have it rigged to the two-party system. And if you are other than you don't really have a chance and your name's not going to get out there as much. And therein lies a whole nother problem as well. Who is this clown?
I don't know who Larry is.
Yadi Bada. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, Larry. We appreciate you for tuning in.
Right.
Make sure
Keep
you
on
like and
commenting.
subscribe and also share this stream.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Just I don't know. There's so much going on. But I just seen that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because Reverend Tim Christopher just posted that there are 4,408 crimes in 37 days have been reported in Minneapolis. Basically, one crime every 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Right. 90 sex offenses. The one that really shocks me, though, is the stolen vehicles, 697.
I'm
224
sorry, but I'm not.
burglaries.
If I lived in Minneapolis, I'm not having a car.
Yeah, that shit's insane. You know what's crazy, though? Because we just recently just bought another car. And we
Oh,
were
really?
going.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We were getting insurance, and we were putting the VIN in and all that. You know, they wanted the information. And one of the cars that we were looking at was a Kia. And that the insurance company literally told us that they don't insure them right now. We couldn't get insurance for that.
Right.
And I was like, wait, what? Yeah. So we ended up getting a Hyundai. And the crazy part about it is that what the fuck came with it blew my mind, man, because it came with the club.
Oh, nice.
Right. But it just shocked me because it's like, damn, when you have insurance companies and even, car companies, they used to give you a TV. Some car places give you a TV when you buy the car, not the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know.
I just
It's
can't
like
believe
that.
how high y'all car theft rates are. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. They just we literally over the weekend, yesterday, I think there was 16 car thefts, carjackings within I know there was for a fact there was 8 within 30 minutes. And that was in yesterday in just a short amount of time and period in like an 8-block radius over South Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's even okay. Even this, you got to think about it. We're 37 days in it, and there has been 518 shots fired calls. That's like let me see how many that is a day, because that's a lot. So 518
That's
divided
like
by
1 to 3 a day, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a
On
14 a
average,
day.
like 1 to 3 a day.
No, 14 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you said 571. Okay.
Yeah, because it was that's crazy as hell. But then it's crazy when it's 518. But when you sit there and you look at if you go on a Crime Watch Minneapolis or you go to Transparency Matters, who's on Twitter, they put up especially Crime Watch, because they put up damn near every call that comes out on the scanner in Minneapolis. But Transparency Matters puts up all the audio from the shot spotters. And the shit you be hearing, it'd be like, man, like, you just be like, right. I'm telling you, it'd be crazy as hell. It'd be crazy as hell. And I laugh. I'm not gonna say I laugh, but I laugh at some people for the fact that say, oh, Minneapolis has just never been so bad. You have a point, but the only difference now is that it's spread out. It's not contained anymore. I'm going to say that again. It's not contained. It's spread out. That's what people are missing, and that's the only reason why crime hasn't changed. Because Minneapolis always has had shootings. They've always had carjackings, but they always were able to contain it to certain areas, so that you had certain areas were living good, right? But now they can't contain it anymore. That's why you see this shit going on in Edina, in the suburbs, and it's not just contained to the bad area, just like Chicago. Everybody, because it's the crazy thing. You can ask anybody that was ever been to Chicago, or if you tell somebody you're going to Chicago, they'll tell you to stay at certain places. Now you ask them now, that it ain't like that, nigga. Like shit, nigga, it's everywhere. What do you mean?
Oh damn.
You know what it's talking about. Even downtown by the river, used to be beautiful. Now go over there. It ain't see more homeless motherfuckers than the pigeons.
Sorry,
real.
I didn't mean to laugh, but
no, but I'm for even okay. Here's another thing. Look at YouTube for Kensington, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The cameras at Kensington.
yeah, I know all
God
about Kensington. You know, I
damn.
know.
Oh yeah.
Kensington is the world's largest open air drug market. I know.
Right, and it's
Like
crazy
to the point where cops have a really hard time there. Basically, they're
right.
Yeah. If you're a normal person that's not on drugs in Kensington, you're likely to carry a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it is.
What's crazy is my dad, I was showing him video or whatever, and he was like, damn. He's like, we've been over there. And I'm like, I thought that shit looked familiar. He's like, yeah, your little brother and them just live right down the street from that train station. I said, damn, I didn't even know that. But now looking at all that shit over there, I was like, wow, that shit do look familiar as hell.
The thing, I got to show you this one documentary about Kensington, but there's many documentaries about Kensington. You go on YouTube, just type in Kensington, Philadelphia,
right,
and you'll see videos upon videos of people going there like tourists, thinking that they get a badge of honor if they go into the hood. But the other part of it is you get a lot of information as to the ills of our society, because this isn't just like Philly that you see this, it's all over, but Philly has the biggest concentration of it.
Right.
Shit's crazy.
It's basically going into the belly of the beast, because people talk about, they always want to show us these third world countries, but then it's like we can look in our own areas and be like, damn, okay, if they're calling that a third world country, then what the fuck do we live
Philly in? Come to my neck of the woods and you'll see.
Right, go to Chicago, O Block. Back in the 90s, what's crazy is what people really got to think about, and I want people to really, really, really think about this, because when they were literally showing us third world countries growing up, I want people to think about damn, what's that? I can't think of the goddamn name of it now, but the housing complex in Chicago. Yeah, I can't think of it right now. It starts with a C. Damn it. But even if you looked at the housing projects that we grew up in, man, and then you looked at third world countries, they weren't no different.
Right.
Chicago projects.
It's facts.
Cabrini Green. Cabrini Green.
Oh, got you.
All right.
Never heard of it.
What?
Bro, I'm not from the Midwest, Philly area, Pennsylvania. So we don't hear nothing about
I'm saying, but
bro,
Philly,
but we don't hear nothing about the Midwest. But that specifically, I haven't heard of though.
That one, I'm really shocked, because they really, well, I'm not shocked, but I mean, because I'm sure there's places I haven't heard about. That's why I'm about to look up if there's any big Philly housing complexes like that. Because I'm wondering, I have to talk to my dad about that, if there was anything like Cabrini Greens out.
Well, what happened?
Well, there's got to be, because okay, so if you look up in like the BX, right? And the housing projects there. I know Philly got something similar to like Bed-Stuy or
You mean like blocks and blocks of tall projects? Yeah.
housing, right? That's what
Yeah, but
that's what I
the
mean.
thing with, because you also have to look at architecture, and every city has a different way of how they built things over the years.
Right.
Here in Pennsylvania, we're known for having what's called the Philly row home or the double block or the row
Right.
home. So we'll have a whole block of, like Midwest, y'all have single family homes that really aren't connected. Out here, a whole block, every house is connected with
It's a
walls.
row house, right?
So like,
It
you know,
ain't
we
a
have
block.
apartment buildings and projects, but they're scattered throughout the city. There isn't like one specific area, neighborhood, or section where you get blocks and blocks of them. So like, the way that things were treated in the same light is like you get neighborhoods that are treated the same way as like what you would get as projects in your neck of the woods. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, because I mean, and one thing that I wanted to spotlight about bringing up like Cabrini Greens and all that, because it's for the simple fact, and Cabrini is closed. Because I grew up in projects that are similar to like Cabrini and these big complexes. But it was the Sumner projects. And when they tore down Sumner, they built condos there.
Yep. And so
that
to provide some context to that, they're trying to also eradicate the middle class, push people further into poverty, people that are low income, supposedly. They're pushing them into poverty, trying to create a bigger homeless population so that those people are either pushed into mental health crises or prison. If they're pushed into prison, they're pushed into slavery.
Right.
But you also have to think about the other angle of it with housing. They're also diminishing that same population by 99.9% of the country. It's law, policies that have enacted something such as most land, like 99% of the land in the US is only for residential building, can only build single family homes. There's not much space for developers to build duplexes or complexes or even the projects that we grew to know in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Right.
They're not being built anymore either, because then you got the NIMBYs and the people in the rural suburbs
Not
like,
in my backyard.
not in my backyard. So where are these places getting built? In rural areas where maybe a farm owner will, sublet some of his property, and these people can't get to where they need to go to get jobs and such. So it creates a downward spiral. So when people want to ask questions as to why is this the way it is, now you have your answer.
Well, no, because what's crazy is and I want to give a shout out to CB, because she was exactly message me the direction I wanted to go in. This is because you look at the what we call projects, right? And then you look at those areas now, compare them of how they're spoken about,
right?
Compared to, you know what I'm saying? Because when you sit there and look at it, how, that's a dangerous area, don't go over there. Oh, now they want people to go over there. They want people
dangerous equates to people of color.
Right.
So we know what that is. Like when I first moved back down to Southeast PA, and I moved to Coatesville. Coatesville's a small ass town, and everybody, all my people in Coatesville, in the hood, because it's nothing but black people, they're like, oh, move to Lancaster, you'll like it. When I started working at a factory outside of Lancaster, the white people, that I befriended at work would be like, don't move to Lancaster. They steal you. They break into your car. They break into your home. It's dangerous. Why? Because it has one of the largest black and brown populations per capita in the nation. What you trying to say? And when I came here, honestly, it wasn't dangerous to me. Everywhere's dangerous, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, because it's even over the weekend there was a post, and it's I'm talking about crime. There was a church over north that was broken into literally 3 times last week. and it was, I don't think they got away with much, but it was more of them destroying things than anything else. But it shocked me because in the post, whoever, I don't know, there was some member of the church, administration, whatever. I don't think it was the pastor, maybe it was the deacon or whatever. But was literally asking people to come over, but then wants to put at the end, remember, this is North Minneapolis. Like, why would you put, like, remember, it's North Minneapolis?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because, of course, Reverend Tim Christopher ate that shit up. Because why would you, like, literally, why? Because all you're doing is feeding into that bullshit-ass narrative.
And honestly,
that Minneapolis isn't safe.
People need to be more scared of going into the suburbs than they do into the hood. Because statistically, first of all, black and brown people, American bred black and brown people, at least, statistically don't really commit serious crimes. I mean, not to say they don't, because obviously black on black crime, as people like to say, we're killing ourselves. That's a different topic and a different story. However, we're not sitting here committing crimes against all kinds of people. We're not killing people at the same rate that like white men are going on serial killing sprees and all this. We're not doing that kind of stuff. But y'all quick to say that the hood or the city is so dangerous because you're going to get robbed. You're going to get robbed because there are people that don't have things and they need things and you have them.
Right. No, because
not to say it's right, but
right. No, and that is crazy because even the ones that they've tore down and we're gonna build condos, some of them that new development isn't even opened and is either boarded up or because I just seen a news report this morning, I think the one out in California or San Francisco somewhere, and it's graffiti. There's art. Well, I'm gonna call it street art. I'm not gonna go into that narrative.
That happens in Philly a lot.
So, but I think it's beautiful because it's spotlighting the city for something that these people just wanted to build, and then when something didn't go their way, they just left it. And I don't think that's fair either because that's taxpayer money and things that is being wasted. And I think we really need to be really looking out for those type of things too of spending because shit, it's getting tough out here. Gas starting to go back up. We're in a hell of a misinformation war right now.
And it's only getting more insane.
Right. As the days turn, especially after last night when Joe Biden made that post with the laser that's coming out of his eyes.
Oh God, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. The fool, let me see. Do I got my Twitter up? I'll get it up real quick. Yeah, man, it's all full, yo. Looking all goofy and shit. Looking like Super Joe came out. Super Joe, yeah. You ain't ever seen the picture with the lasers coming out of his eyes. Come on, he's Super Joe. Because I guess he posted it on his page. Yeah, I don't know. That's not it. That ain't it. Damn, I can't find it. Crazy. Did he do that? See if he did do that on his page. Yeah, I think he did do it on his page. Did he really take it down? Insane. Wow. He really took it down. Let me see if I can find the Joe Biden. Oh, here we go right here. All right. I found it. It just took me a second. But y'all gonna laugh at this shit. I know you is, Dontel. So a meme, I blow it up. That better? So
Joe Biden trolled conspiracy theorists with the dark Brandon meme, a photo of the president with red lasers for eyes after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Oh God.
Yeah. Just like we drew it up at Chiefs. That's what
weird.
That's right. That's what he put on his Twitter last night. Yeah. Somebody said Biden was at least 6 hours into his sleep when this was posted, my G. And Andrew posted this.
Oh,
they said Buddy was asleep.
I wanted to say this before you get off of here because I wondered if you had heard of this, and I think it's important for people to take note of this and how we actually are being censored as citizens, as journalists. So y'all know of Karine Jean-Pierre. If you don't, she is the White House correspondent. She's the one that answers the reporters' questions, the Haitian girl.
I haven't heard of that.
The black girl who answers all the questions for Biden.
Oh, right. Yep.
So there was a black reporter that wanted to ask. He covers anything covering African news. So he's the White House correspondent for Africa. So he was, it's our duty to challenge and check and fact check and police these people because they work for us. So he was doing his due diligence as any reporter should by asking questions. And she was very snippy with him and rude. So he snipped back. But what people don't understand is the context behind it. And if you listen to the things that he said for 8 months. Huh?
You talking about Simon?
I'm not sure. This African correspondent was talking about for 8 months, he had been there as a White House correspondent for Africa, and she had not answered one of his questions. And the fact that there are certain journalists that get prioritized, they get to sit at the front and all their questions get answered, where he's always pushed to the back. He's reached out to her specific office numerous times, and she has not responded to him. So he had enough. And he said, you know what? I will not be disrespected this way. How dare you treat people this way? And you know what? One of the other journalists from the front of the room turned around and defended her. Why? Because he's probably white. He probably gets all his questions answered. And so the African reporter turned around and clapped back at him. My thing is, and for many other people as well, when did we have this, and I can't really pinpoint it, but I want people to think about this. There has become a divide between real journalism and corporate journalism, and making sure that the populace doesn't understand really what's going on. So we need to pay attention to these things. Obviously, this little tidbit didn't make mainstream media, but I did get wind of it, and I want to inform other people of it because it's something we should pay attention to. They're not telling us anything. I'll end it there.
Right. So I'm gonna end this episode for today. If there's anything else, any shout outs you want to give, Jontel, any promotions, anything like that.
Make sure y'all go over to YouTube, like and subscribe to our channel, the Leon Block Network, and make sure y'all check out our playlist for y'all to check out. All of the Urban Conservative episodes and all of the Colonizer's Coffin episodes are available for y'all to check out.
So y'all already know what it is, man. I hope everybody has a great Monday. Remember, here in 36 minutes, if you live in Minnesota, the legislative session will be starting. Please keep your eyes on that, regardless of whatever your movement is, whatever your fight is, because your voice is important and we do need to be heard. So please, I'm asking people to pay attention and to hold your representative accountable. Watch what they're doing, right? Are they speaking for you when they go up and they testify? Are they debate? Are they speaking for you? Are they speaking for their agenda? That's what I want people to remember. Are they speaking to better our communities? The things that we go up there and they want us to vote for. Are they doing that? Are they holding to that promise, right? Are they holding to that? That's what I want people to remember. So today, 35 minutes, the gavel clocks. I want people to be aware because I might go live. I might not. I know. Just remember I do work nights. So, and if I'm not working some nights, I will be. And if there's committee hearings going on that I think people need to maybe watch, I will be going live. So, because I want to bring this live so that we can literally not let this fester for days and we can address it real time so that we can organize and strategize right then and there. It's not about letting this shit go down all the way down through committee and talking about, oh, we could have did something, we could have did this. No, we're gonna do it. It's not no more talking anymore. So just please remember that. So win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well, wish us well. Y'all have a great motherfucking Monday. Howdy.
Urban conservative.